You are in the right place if you are thinking about buying the Lenovo Glasses T1. You want a massive, private screen and you have seen the hype, but here is what you will not hear in the ads. Therefore, before you spend almost $400, you need to know the 3 major problems that could make you regret this purchase. For the best price, click the link in the description. This is not just another review. This is an honest breakdown of who these glasses are really for and, more importantly, who they are not for. Because the promise is incredible. A portable IMAX theater that fits in your pocket. That sounds like a dream for travelers, gamers, or anyone wanting a giant monitor without the giant desk. But the reality is a series of compromises that hit you right in the face, sometimes literally. Let us start with the biggest shock. The setup is not plug-and-play, it is plug-and-pray. Lenovo sells this as a wearable display for all your USB-C devices. You plug it in and boom, a giant screen appears. But here is what they do not shout about. If you are an iPhone user, you are in for a world of pain and extra expense. Therefore, you will need to buy not one but 2 separate adapters. First, a Lightning to HDMI adapter, because Apple is still clinging to that port like a toddler to a blanket. And then, you need Lenovo's own HDMI to USB-C adapter. That is an extra $50 to $100 on top of the $377 price tag. Suddenly, your portable cinema is trailing a rat's nest of dongles. It is the opposite of sleek. For a product all about seamless immersion, that is a huge immersion breaker. It is like buying a sports car and finding out you need to assemble the engine yourself. Speaking of immersion, let us talk about the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the cable on your face. The Glasses T1 are tethered. There is no wireless option. You have a cable running from your glasses to your phone or laptop. For watching a movie on a plane, that cable is getting yanked every time you shift in your seat. For gaming on your couch, you are now a trip hazard for your pets. They call it a wearable display, but you cannot wear it and walk around. Your vision is completely obscured. You are effectively blind. So the dream of watching a recipe on a giant screen while you cook, that is a great way to learn what a hospital bill looks like. Therefore, you are anchored. This is not AR or VR. It is a monitor you strap to your head with all the mobility of a desktop PC. That is our first major problem, the tether. But maybe you are okay with sitting still. The payoff is that huge screen, right? Here comes problem number 2. The visual experience is a mixed bag. The micro OLED screens are sharp. 1080p per eye is decent. The colors are rich and the blacks are deep because OLED. However, there is a big but. The field of view is just okay. It feels like you are looking at a big screen from several rows back, not like you are inside an IMAX. Some people report a slight screen door effect, where you can faintly see the gaps between pixels. And the refresh rate is locked at 60 Hz. For most movies and general use, that is fine. But for fast-paced gaming, that 60 Hz feels sluggish compared to the 90 Hz or 120 Hz of some competitors. It is like watching a sports car race in standard definition. You get the idea, but you miss the thrilling smoothness. Then there is the fit. This is where the jokes write themselves. Lenovo includes multiple nose pads, which is great, because finding the right fit is less like adjusting glasses and more like performing delicate facial surgery. Get it wrong, and you will have pressure points that make you look like you have been in a staring contest with a vacuum cleaner. I spent more time adjusting these things than I did watching my first movie. And the built-in speakers, they are a polite way of saying the sound is for emergencies only. They are tiny and they leak sound. So much for your private movie session if the person next to you can hear every whisper. You will want to use headphones, which adds another cable to the spaghetti junction happening around your ears. You will look like a cyborg who failed its wiring exam. Let us dive into problem number 3, the practical reality. Who is this actually good for? The marketing shows people on planes and trains. But with the cable and the complete blindness, Using these in public feels awkward. You are the person with the weird tech on their face, a cable down their shirt, and you cannot see the flight attendant offering you peanuts. You have to take them off constantly. Therefore, the best use case is in a perfectly controlled private space, like your bed or your couch. It is fantastic for lying back and watching a movie without holding a tablet. It is great for playing console games from your bed without needing a TV. For that specific scenario, it delivers. The screen is big and private. You can play games while your partner reads a book. That is a legitimate win. But is that one scenario worth $400? That is the question. For some, absolutely. If you travel for work and live in hotel rooms, this beats a laptop screen. If you have zero space for a monitor in a tiny apartment, this is your giant invisible screen. And the ability to add prescription lenses directly is a brilliant, inclusive feature. No more squeezing your glasses underneath. That is a huge plus Lenovo nailed. So after all these problems, is this a buy? Here is the resolution. The Lenovo Glasses T1 are a brilliant, flawed gadget. They are not for everyone. In fact, they are for a very specific someone. Therefore, do not buy them if you want true augmented reality, wireless freedom, or a simple plug-and-play experience with an iPhone. You will be disappointed. However, buy them if your life fits this niche. You are a frequent traveler who wants a private cinema in a hotel. You are a space-constrained city dweller who wants a giant screen for your console without a TV. You value deep privacy for viewing confidential work. For you, the trade-offs make sense. The tether is a nuisance you can manage for the payoff of a 100-inch screen in your backpack. In the end, my job is not to tell you yes or no. It is to give you the real picture with all its pixels and its cables. The Lenovo Glasses T1 deliver on a specific, powerful promise. They just come with a list of conditions. If your needs match their strengths, you will love them. If not, you now know to look elsewhere. For the best current price on Amazon and to check out those adapter options, click the link in the description below.